And we're back. Excellent. We're back playing.
Sorry, you'll just have the sound of me eating a biscuit.
Yum 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 yum. Back and I'm not trying to kill you. We are playing the Fall of Magic, and I'm going to go to the same place as. So I think, yeah, like, um, I think that like on the island, River is um, like um, one like I don't know how she got on the island, but she's like wandering along the shore of it, and like gets to the huge oak tree that the island is named after, and she like looks up at its browning and yellowing leaves, um, and like and like a gust of like warm wind blows from behind her and like blows her hair into her face and whatnot, and she like brushes it out of her eyes, and then like nestled in the base of the tree in front of her is like a younger version of herself, like much younger, like with this girl with like beautiful long dark hair and bright shining hopeful eyes is like staring into the face of this um, like um, stubbly and like raggedy haired, handsome traveler type guy, and they're nestled together in the base of this tree. And he like tells some stupid joke, and she laughs, way more than she probably ought to, and then like just like leans up into him, and he like pulls her close and kisses her, and then like grabs her like arm, and like they like roll over, so that like he's like got a like half pinned under the tree, and she like laughs and squirms and whatnot, um and then yeah, and then I think it like and then like a couple of like leaves blow, and like it's in the autumn, and then a couple of like um leaves blow past, and like um there's these two same young people, um and um and they're sitting on a rug beneath the tree, and this time they've got like cheese and bread and like some meats and like a bottle of wine, or no, or something that looks like wine, but like and you can see that that the young River is like very heavily pregnant, and they're like sharing and they're like it's that like last glow of summer, early autumn, and yeah, the leaves are falling around them, and they're enjoying this autumnal feast. There's probably like a pumpkin pie or some bullshit like that, and yeah, and they're just smiling and laughing, and enjoying this meal, and and then the wind blows again, and she like kind of like wakes out of her state, because I think she hears Fawn laugh to themselves, or like across the water or something, and like she like looks over, and she's like oh right, of course, like calls out to Fawn, and like goes to like takes her little dinghy or whatever, and like rows back over to like catch back up with her friend. That's it.
Cute.
Cool. It's lovely. So the idea being, yeah, like the two of them were both standing like on either sides of this bit of water, like reminiscing. Yeah, that's nice. I like that. Okay.
Your turn, Em.
Cool. All right. So I'm going to go to the farmer's market. And yeah, I think this is also like just a little one. I've got a bit of a thought. Where's my token gone? Where's my token? Oh, it's down there. There it is. All right, farmer's market. Okay, yeah. So Yeah, so I think we see a bustling market. There is a lot of kind of humble but sturdy looking tents and things. A lot of them are decorated with these little kind of. I guess we, the audience, would think they looked a little bit like prayer flags or something like that. And they have various kind of like stamps of like some of them have like sheaves of grain, and some of them have like kind of like a horseshoe shape and things like that. And I think we get like this sort of shot like that kind of moves through these flags and into the shade of one of these little like tents, and we see Caspian like there standing in front of a little kind of counter, and behind the counter there are like a few people moving about. And there's a woman comes over to the counter, and she's got like an apron on. She's got her hair like tied up in a bun. She has kind of like quite olivey skin, and she sort of like is clearly very busy. She's like I think she's like drying her hands on like a cloth as she walks over, and Caspian sort of she comes over and she says yes, what is it, how can I help you? And Caspian like kind of gestures to a basket with some like small loaves of bread, and gestures like how many people? Gestures like 5. And she says and then like also hands a note over that says like that has written on it like a couple of other things, you know, like dried meat or certain like vegetables or something. It's like a little shopping list, and they like push that onto the counter, and this woman kind of like snatches it, looks at it, and nods, and she like leans into the back and calls out to the people like behind her, and she says, one, there's a golem here. It wants something for its master. Can you get these things? And just like hands the list over to someone out the back. And then she like looks back to Caspian and she's like, it'll just be a moment. You can wait here. And I think, we like then sort of like cut to, just like a shot of this man with a basket of rations and things, handing them to Caspian, and Caspian like handing over the money, and like in that last interaction I don't think Caspian speaks to the man, but there's a sort of a sense in the way that they interact, almost like the man is slightly unsure of how to behave with this person, and kind of seems to how do I describe it, like not expect them to be able to communicate in any way, and just sort of like hands this thing to them and kind of doesn't say, here you go, or thank you or anything, just sort of like mechanically, puts the thing in Caspian's hands, and Caspian leaves.
Cool. All right. Now, Carrie has a decision. Do you want to continue to explore Barley Town, or do you want to move on and
I think let's
if we do move on.
Yeah, I think let's move on, or at least see what's see what the next place is.
I'll open it up so you can see that, and then you can make your decision. How does that sound?
Yeah.
How does that look? You've got 2 choices.
Ooh.
One of those is significant to you.
Yes. So Stormguard Mountains, I assume, is close to Stormguard. Mistwood. I don't think any of us are from Mistwood, are we?
No. It's interesting because, yeah, like, particularly you having this choice, it's a question of, like, if
Do you
given
wanna
the
linger a
choice,
little
does
longer? Do you wanna
Elamora...
go to one of those? Do you want to
Yeah.
avoid another?
Yeah. But, I mean, it's not my character making the decision, is
No,
it?
it's you as a player. What
It's
story do
true.
you want
It's
to
you,
tell?
the
Yeah.
player. Yep.
That's them.
Yep.
Very true.
So, on that note, I think we go Stormguard Mountains.
Okay, so you're gonna move so you're gonna do the Magus' scene
yes,
in the
the
Stormguard
Magus.
Mountains. Cool.
Yep.
Alright, I'll move the rest of us.
Okay. So yeah, we're walking single file up this mountain path, and the Magus looks up at the sky, which is, you know, which is clear and, you know, calm at the moment, and she just she says, I sense a storm is approaching. We should, you know, try to hurry through this mountain pass, to try to avoid getting caught. Yeah, and perhaps one of us should try to find a good place to take shelter for the night. Like, you know, perhaps one of us could go ahead. And
I think like River immediately starts doing things like, you know, strapping things down onto like one of the mounts and all these sorts of things, just being very practical of like getting ready for a storm.
yeah.
I think Caspian sort of walks up to the Magus and signs, I'll go ahead and find shelter. And they, yeah,
Okay.
like sort of move off to do so.
Okay, all right. And Elamura offers to accompany to accompany Caspian if they desire. But you know, is obviously torn between, you know, wanting to help, but also wanting to stay by the Magus' side. So
Yeah,
it would be
I think, yeah.
easy to persuade to stay behind.
Is that something that is like obvious on her face? Do we see her sort of?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, you can see that indecisiveness.
Yeah.
I feel like probably Fawn would be kind of like, storms I can handle. I can protect the Magus.
Yeah, you're like, it's fine, we'll weather this.
Yeah. Just like, it's all right. Been through this before.
Mm.
So she looks kind of confident, I guess.
Okay. Yeah. I feel that Elamura would be cautious of like dangers other than the storm, though, like, you know, possibly you know, bandits or, you know, animals,
bears in caves and things like that.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, does Caspian want company, I guess is the question here.
Yeah, I mean, I
Would
think
you
they
like leave that for like a future scene.
Yeah, sure. That could be nice.
Okay.
Yeah, but I feel like, yeah, like you mean as in, yeah, maybe we don't see them go, but I think like Caspian seems sort of neutral about it. Like they're not going to persuade Elmira one way or the other.
Okay.
So they sort of nod. If Elmira says like, "I'll come with you," then they just nod.
All right. Okay. Well, yeah. Let's cut away from that scene then.
Sure.
Oh, that's me.
Yeah.
I just wasn't thinking about it. Okay, what's this situation with the like 1 to 2, 3 to 5? Are we rolling?
Yeah. So what happens is,
Mhm.
you do the scene.
Mhm.
You have to include the danger you fear, and then you have to roll a dice and include the other thing.
Okay. I understand. I feel like there's an easy way out for me here. Not an easy way out, but I guess a continuation. There's several. But okay. I'm going to I'm gonna go with taking shelter. No, I'm not. I'm gonna leave taking shelter in case those two want to play out their thing.
Up to you. I'm very curious to know, like, I'm curious because Fawn has displayed probably out of the group the most confidence with the oncoming storm. I'm curious to know if there is something that Fawn fears in this scenario. Like, what is it, and why does her experience tell her that? I'm curious about that, but that's neither here nor there.
All right. Yeah, no. Okay. All right. Let's do that. Okay. So, okay. So, they're making their way up the mountain. I assume Caspian's already gone. Maybe.
I think you're just getting ahead. Like, are you going with Caspian or are you waiting?
Yeah, you're right. Okay, you know what? Let's go with the worsening weather, and then I can do both of these things.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, that sounds really good.
Yep. Smart.
Okay, so let's say yes, they're making their way up the mountain, and the sky is kind of slowly changing from a nice pleasant sort of blue color, gets grayer and grayer, and in the distance you hear a crack of lightning and some thunder, and slowly as you get higher up the mountain, you kind of catch up with the rain, and the rain starts falling. Seeing this rain, so at first I think Fawn is kind of confident, kind of like, okay, all right, this is fine. It's just rain. This is all right. Do we all have horses, or does just the maid just have a horse? How's this?
That's a good question.
What do we think, group?
I think we all have ponies.
We all have ponies? Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So I imagine with the weather, the ponies are getting kind of like antsy, getting kind of stressed, which is frustrating to Fawn, because she's trying to stay calm and like monitor the situation and prepare in case she has to do anything, and she's instead trying to control this horse that's not really listening. But so as the rain gets worse and worse, the horse's feet are you can hear them sort of splashing in the water. So the water is coming down the mountain quite rapidly. So it's quite alarming because they're in danger of being swept back down the mountain by this torrent of this stream. Does anybody else? Does anybody else's characters have a reaction? I guess I know you're supposed to say like, can you like someone and name someone.
River's definitely there and just like very very businesslike, calming the animals. And she's like calming both her animal and like the ones that might have been left behind by the people scouting ahead. I don't know. And at the same time, like simultaneously, like trying to like calm these animals and put up and like start unpacking a tent. Like she's doing that thing of like, I can do both of these things at once. It's fine.
Yep.
Do we think that Caspian and Elamora have already gone ahead at this point? Is that what we are envisaging? So this is like the others left behind?
I think maybe Elamura would have decided to stay.
Yeah, cool. Yeah.
So yeah, I think Elamura would be trying to urge the whole party to try to find somewhere to stop, because obviously concerned that with this water coming down the mountain that the animals will lose their footing and will possibly be in danger because of that. So just wanting to find a place to stop out of the way of the water.
So I think that Fawn, looking up at the mountain ahead, she kind of starts to look kind of frustrated, and she turns and she looks at the Magus, and the Magus is obviously ill and maybe shivering because it's cold. They're all wet, and the Magus is ill. From the top of the mountain, or just above where they are, she can see a ledge, and over the edge of that is it's forming like a mini waterfall. So kind of up ahead of where they are. So if you imagine there's like a trail, and it's kind of creating a waterfall that's blocking over part of the trail that they want to walk through. So imagine if you had like a tap sticking out of the wall, and the tap was like
so
falling on the common path.
And that's like adding to the water that is...
It's just kind of a concentration of the water that's coming from the rain. So it's come to the edge of this ledge, and it's just flowing quite heavily. And I think that at this point in time, Fawn kind of she realizes that this is her time when she can use her experience with these storms, and she kind of thinks back to when her town was in danger, and everybody was upset, and she looks at the Magus, and the Magus is sick, and that kind of sort of like sparks something in her. And as she's looking forward to the kind of stream of water that's coming down, she begins to, I don't know, focus really hard, I guess, just kind of really is honing in on this this waterfall, and she manages to sort of like redirect it, I guess, so that it's no longer in their path. So I think that her ability is that she's able to sort of make them sort of a path where the water splits, if that makes sense, and they therefore have like a safer route up the mountain, walking through sort of less water.
Cool.
Yep.
I think that's the way she's able to contribute.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah.
And I
Alright.
think that's the end of the scene.
I think then I'm gonna do taking shelter then.
Or we can double up on things.
Yeah, but I think that this is like taking shelter is like in River's like bag.
Mm.
And it kind of it naturally sort of follows on from
Yeah, exactly.
just
I
Mm.
think we see like they've like that tent that they keep that they've like that they've got that like that we saw like being erected in the Oak Hills. We see her like I think we see like the Magus looking like flushed and like really like and like ill in the cold inside the tent with like the others, and then like suddenly like the front like one of the corners of the tent starts like whipping, and River's like, ah, for fuck's sake, and like and like just like busts out the door and starts like you hear like her like banging a peg back into like some like rocks or something, and you just hear her being her like yelling at the thing, being like when I was a child, we didn't have to deal with any of this nonsense. You didn't try and make a tent out of a single piece of bloody canvas. You would put it together properly and make a proper fucking yurt. You'd have some animal skins in here, some dead things. We'd have some bones and all this sort of shit, and hold it together properly. And like, yeah, she starts going on and on about like about the fact that this is like made out of canvas for some reason makes it weaker, as if like the fact that it doesn't have dead things in it is like it's not properly protected. And she like and she comes back in and like comes back into the tent. It's like, sorry. Yeah, and just like and it just goes back to like to like like folding up some like bits of clothes or something.
What a hero. River's the true hero.
wow. River has a mouth on her.
Oh yeah, like yeah.
Sorry, I enjoyed your water pun. It was good. I liked it.
Are you muted, Em?
No. Yeah.
I think in this scene, like Caspian is back with the group. Like I think maybe the tent is set up like under an overhanging rock or something. So there's the assumption that they've like found whatever it was that they were like scouting ahead to look for. So,
Okay.
just for like the logistics of,
Yeah.
because otherwise, like what? Where have they gone?
It's your turn now, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, yeah, actually, all right. So let's say I'm going to go with the scouting ahead, because I think we're doing a bit of like time shift.
Yeah.
Like
Yep.
that scene that we just had happens after this one.
Yep.
So, okay, so the way this works, I describe the danger I fear.
You describe the scene scouting ahead that includes the danger you fear.
The danger I fear.
And then
Okay.
you roll a dice, and that'll tell you the thing that you then have to also include in the scene.
Okay. All right, cool.
Which is D6.
Okay. Yep. Okay. Cool. So yeah, we see this sort of mountain trail, and yeah, I think it's like the rain has started at this point, but it's not quite like the torrential, flood that we saw earlier, later. And Caspian is like making their way along this track and kind of like holding on to the rock at the side of the path as they go. And again, like there's this strange way that they walk, this kind of like lopsided sort of gait. It seems like walking is a great chore for them, but they don't display that on their face. They are quite, their expression is quite stoic. but it's sort of like uncomfortable to watch them struggle to move. And and particularly because of, you know, the wind is howling like along the path toward them, and making it even more difficult. And I think as they're plodding, we kind of like hear the crackle of their like boots on the gravel, and it like kind of fades in and out of like the sound of like fire crackling, like a fireplace crackling. And I think they sort of like look up ahead, like lift their head up, and up ahead in the path they see the entrance to a cave, like the dark sort of, you know, hole that leads into a cave. Sorry. And they kind of like pause, and like sort of put a hand to their belt, where you would hold like a, you know, a dagger or a sword or something, but they're like there's nothing there. And they sort of like and like drop their hand down again, and kind of like take a few deep breaths whilst staring intently at this the cave mouth. And then they kind of like look down at their hands, and I think we get this sort of shot of their face, and with their hands, and from their fingertips, you know, like the smallest of sparks of flame kind of like blossom, and just enough to kind of light their face a little, and then they sort of like close up their hands and kind of ready themselves to move into the cave and encounter whatever may or may not be there. So their fear is, you know, that there is something in there and they may have to defend themselves. So I will roll to see what we actually encounter. Okay. 3. Interesting. I was like, how does this one work? All right. News from the east.
We're like east direction we're headed.
Okay, cool. So I think we cut to a shot of Caspian, coming to stand in the mouth of this cave, and they're kind of like I think we just get a shot of like them against the just like blackness of the cave, and they kind of like step into it. And I think as they come sort of around a corner, we kind of follow them, and there's a bit of a glow from like a campfire up ahead, and I think that there are like maybe 2 travelers sitting at a campfire in this cave, and they look up when Caspian comes in. Could I get Ash and Jess to play the travelers?
Mm-hmm.
I think the travelers are from the east.
Yeah, one of them looks up and is like, "Oh, friend, this cave is taken."
Caspian signs. Do you speak the signs?
And it's like, and like the person like peers and it's like, I'm joking. Come closer. I can't see.
Right. Yeah. They walk up and kind of like bow.
Like he's like, greeting friend. It's cold out. Why are you not camped?
Yeah. They sign back.
It's not camped, I don't understand.
Yeah. They sign back like I'm scouting ahead. My master and her people are further back.
He's like,
Yeah, I imagine she's like, there are more of them.
It's like they must. Why are they not planned ahead like this? These mountains are dangerous. Friend, why have you not made a plan for this?
The name is Stormguard Mountains. Why are you not prepared for a storm?
They don't laugh or anything like, but they sign back. My master knew it was coming, but she is very weak. She needs. She is not well.
If she's very weak, then why did she come to the Stormguard Mountains?
We are on a pilgrimage.
Oh, a pilgrimage.
It's like
Huh.
and yeah, I think and like yeah, the like um the like jolly dude like it's like a pilgrimage. If you're coming across the mountains this direction, you're going the wrong way.
Oh, no.
Things only get worse from this direction. Everything coming out of the sea, it only brings horrors.
Yeah, okay. So like there's a pause, I think, and then Caspian signs back like the sea. I have heard stories about this. Is it worse now?
I think it's like it is worse and better. It has become fickle. One day beautiful, the next to kill you.
Okay. I mean, I feel like, yeah,
And
that's
and
some
the
news
same-
from the east.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
cool.
Yep.
Good hustle, Ash. Good hustle.
Nice. Okay. So,
Okay.
does that mean it's Jess's turn to?
It's
Carrie, I
Carrie's
think.
turn.
Oh, it's Carrie's turn. Yeah. Cool.
Yep.
Oh yes, of course.
Okay, so I just want to check, like, so we didn't end up taking shelter in the same place as these
I mean,
travelers.
maybe we did. Maybe like if you keep taking shelter, maybe we can. Maybe you want to like interact with them in some way.
Okay.
Or like, yeah, or it could be that they left as we arrived, or like, yeah, that's totally up to you.
Yep. I think when actually I'm not sure. I think perhaps yeah, I'll go taking shelter. And all right, so Elamura is sort of trying to hang back from these travelers, you know, around the fire, trying not to, I guess, not be seen clearly, not to get too, you know, too close to them, because she's very nervous about anyone who's traveling, you know, from Stormguard. And she's just sort of listening in as they tell stories, I guess. And actually no, she speaks up at one point just to ask, you know, how, like, you know, what things are like with the nobles in Stormguard at the moment, like, you know, what news there are from the nobles, and one of the two, I guess the jolly one, he tells of he tells of you know, one of the noble families who's you know, who've recently had a child, you know, a new male heir, to replace that the one that was taken from them.
Yeah, it's like ah yes, young Bertram has been born. It's a very good blessing. Ever since the butcher of Stormguard left, it has been a much calmer place.
Yes. Yep. That's exactly what I was going for.
Many laughters of the children and singing of the women.
Yes. yes. After the she demon, who took their, who took their prince, or you know, their
Yeah.
I think he like tells like stories of like this like of this like 8-foot woman, like the butcher of Stormguard with her pointed
Yeah.
face and her fiery
Yep.
eyes.
Yep.
He's
Yep.
like, and he like
Yeah.
turns to you. He turns to you, Elamura, and he's like, she would strike fear into your very bones.
And Elamura gets very quiet at this,
Mhm.
and just sort of
Yeah.
shrinks even further away from the group and from the fire,
Mm.
and just and that's
Mm.
I think that's the scene.
Yeah.
Legit.
That's
fucking
that's
cool
great.
as.
I like it. Yep. I like it.
Yeah.
Jess, would you like to hang around in the Stormguard Mountains, or would you like me to... I'll reveal the next area to you, so you can make that decision in an informed way.
I just zoomed out and realized this scroll is a lot bigger than I thought it was.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, cool. Well, we must be like, almost halfway through this. Oh, no.
Oh wow. Yeah. Gosh.
Yeah, it's big.
Oh,
It's
it's
a big
up
scroll.
the entire space.
Oh, okay. All right.
We are about halfway through.
Okay, cool. Well, do we want to aim to...
I think we can do a couple more. Like, I think we can probably do...
Yeah,
Castle
like,
Stormguard and
yeah.
maybe a little more, but, like, yeah.
Yep. Yeah, because then we could still sort of finish roughly when we're thinking. Okay, cool.
I mean, I'll move us ahead.
Okay, so you're gonna do the Magus' scene?
Yeah.
Cool.
So let's move the Magus to yeah, the hospitality of
I just saw some
Alana
things.
Storm Queen. All right.
Sounds like a badass.
Yeah. Right.
Mm.
Wish that was my name.
I know, right?
Okay. Emily, would you play Alana Storm Queen?
Sweet. Yeah. All right. Yeah, totally.
All right. Okay. So I'm imagining the weary travelers are making their way to the gates of Castle Stormguard. Everybody kind of sad and sorry and a bit wet because they've just come from a never-ending storm of Stormguard Mountains. And they approach sort of tentatively. I don't know what about Castle Stormguard. Does it have big gates at the front, or can we go straight through? I don't know.
That's up to you.
I'm totally imagining... Oh, sorry. What were you going to say, Ash?
No, I was just saying, like retell that story.
I'm totally imagining like a big kind of a big hall type situation with like the long carpet and the big imposing throne, like a la the main city in Game of Thrones is.
Oh yeah.
That kind of like really theatrical, like
Mm-hmm.
that's what I'm imagining. But
Yep. Oh, I like that. So, I imagine they gain entry into the sort of castle itself, past sort of front gates because, I mean, it's clear they're struggling and they are very, very much in need of shelter. So they approach the hall. I'm kind of imagining, much as in Barley Town, the Magus and Alana Storm Queen are acquainted.
Yeah, I'm sort of liking this idea that maybe the Magus has not made this pilgrimage before, but like used to do like some other kind of like traditional journey or something like that, and has maybe met these people like previously. I'm sort of wondering if that's a thing.
Yeah, I'm kind of imagining, if nothing else, that the Magus is kind of known throughout the land.
Mm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Mm.
travels often.
Mm.
So yes. So the Magus gives Alana a kind of fond but weary look as she slowly dismounts the pony so that they all walk inside. She probably reaches out to whoever's beside her, which I'm assuming would be
Elmira.
Elmira. Yep, I was like Ella.
Or something. Or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Elmira, yes, judging by sort of how things have been in the past. So she reaches out for Elmira's hand and just slowly lowers herself to the ground and kind of walks wearily towards Alana with her arms outstretched, in kind of like come, like hug me, sort of like friend.
Yeah. And I think like it's a really interesting gesture because like I'm picturing like Alana, sat on this sort of overly grand kind of throne, and like from her like immediate like look, she seems very kind of like stern and like cold, and I think she doesn't like her face doesn't really soften, but when the Magus comes toward her and like puts her arms out, Alana like steps down and embraces her and kind of like grips her shoulders, and says, my friend, you look terrible.
The Magus laughs. She says thank you. Hello to you too. And I think she says, yeah, I've seen better times. It's not good. It's not good. My time, if things keep going the way they're going, it seems my time is coming to an end.
I'm greatly disturbed to hear this. Do you have a successor? And she says it kind of like she's assuming that that's the case. Like, who's going to take over for you?
No, I didn't plan for this day. And there may yet be hope. I don't see the point in thinking about such things when we may yet be able to avert this disaster.
I think Alana like sort of nods grimly and like looks behind her at the other companions, sort of like, and kind of like appraises them a little bit, like Marenia. Yeah.
Like did she react upon seeing Elamura?
I was actually just going to say Elamura is trying to cover her face, like she's basically wearing a big hood and looking down at the ground, like trying not to be.
That's not suspicious at all.
Not to be seen.
Yeah, so I think like Alana's eye like kind of lingers on the hooded figure, but then like sees Caspian next to Elamura, also like with their hood up and their face down, like because that's always how they stand, and kind of seems to equate them as like the same somehow, and then sort of looks to River, and then like back to the Magus, I think she just says, well, old friend, our halls are open to you. If you can, and I hesitate to even ask, but you know our custom. We ask travelers to leave a gift. We cannot grow our own food here. We cannot make our own sustenance, and we rely on these gifts. But do not trouble yourself too much.
The Magus kind of ponders it for a moment, and she says, "We'll do what we can. I hope that if we're successful in our journey, we will be able to bring gifts for everyone, and the world will once again be bountiful. With yeah.
Yeah. She nods and she says, that is a golden dream. I hope that it can be true.
Yes, I think the Magus says something like, "Oh, we've our journey through the mountains was not easy. I think that now I must rest in a truly warm bed, and that would be the greatest gift that you could give to me."
Yeah. Yeah.
Fawn, for the record, I imagine looks not great right now because it's probably quite taxing for her to have like parted water for like their whole trip through the mountains. So I imagine she's kind of just like doing a bit of a like tired lean on her horse, just like a real
Like,
casual like arm on the saddle. This is normal.
Yeah, I had the thing of like for me, I also imagined that the Magus looked worse after you did that as well.
Okay, yeah, right.
Yep.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah, sorry, I totally didn't mention Fawn when I was like,
Yeah, I was like, no, that's
describing it.
fine. It's all right.
No, it's because you were playing someone, so I was just like, yep, cool, covered everybody. So confusing having people switch characters.
Yeah.
Sorry about that.
Yeah, I kind of like that idea that it would affect the Magus as well.
Yeah, like their magic is somehow linked together. Yeah.
Yeah. I also realized I just gave my character magic water powers, so I hope
Yeah,
everybody's
whatever.
chill
That's
with
cool.
that.
I mean, yeah, exactly. I had
Yeah,
magic fire powers.
yeah.
It's cool.
And the point that I was making in my scene when I did the healing was that I was looking at the Magus being like, will they notice and will they be worse? And
Yeah.
they were.
Yep.
Well, if that's the end of the scene, I think we should take our last break before we have our last little. We'll do a couple more scenes and then we'll wrap it up for the evening.
Cool.
So we'll
Sounds
go and
good.
get another cup of tea or whatever, and then we'll be back.
Nice.
Woohoo.